On behalf of the motion picture industry, welcome to the world of home video entertainment.
I've been wanting to talk for a while about Russ Meyer audio commentary tracks. Yeah, I wanted somebody else to talk about them. Somebody else gonna talk. Nobody else. I'm looking around. Nobody else is talking about them. I gotta talk about them. And I'm gonna do that. Like most things. Russ Meyer is one of the great raconteurs of cinema. He's one of the great dirty old man raconteurs of cinema, and he probably always will be. You can always count on Russ Meyer for some kind of blue, off-color anecdote. He's one of those old school exploitation filmmakers like David Friedman. Unlike David Friedman, Russ Meyer was just totally, like, loony. Totally loony. I mean, he's, if you don't know who Russ Meyer is, I don't necessarily blame you, because his films have been, throughout the years, kind of difficult to find. His most well-known, of course, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls and Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, those films are, like, iconic in a way, and specifically the black and white tourist satana of Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. But for the most part, most of his movies, very difficult to find on home video because he kept all of the rights to his films. He was very smart, and throughout the 80s and the 90s, he sold these films on home video, on VHS, just out of his house. He sold them out of his Hollywood house for, like, I think 79. I remember it was like $79. It started off the tapes. I think now on his website you can get the tapes for only $39. But anyway, in the late 90s, he entered into a licensing agreement with Image Entertainment, and he released all of his classic films on Laserdisc. And he did audio commentary on, as far as I know, only 4 of them. Only 4 of them. He did it. He did this. Throughout these Laserdiscs were released. I think in late '97. That was the first one, which was the Vixen collection. And then throughout '98, they released, again, just all of his entire back catalog, and then ending in mid '99. So this was really kind of at the end of Laserdisc, of the Laserdisc era, were these films released. Why were they released at this point? Why did it take this long for these films to come out on Laserdisc, especially something as iconic as Faster Pussycat Kill Kill? Why did Russ Meyer only do commentaries on 4 of these films, essentially the Vixen collection, which collected all 3 of the Vixen films, Vixen, Supervixens, and Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens, Vixen 1968, Supervixens 1975, Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens 1979, those 3 Vixen films, and then Faster Pussycat, his classic. So why those films and not the others? I don't know. There's so many questions that I have about these Laserdisc releases. Why did it take so long for them to be licensed? Why 97, 98, 99? Why not 91, 92, 93, 94? Why did it take so long for these to be released? I don't know. We'd have to speak with somebody on the inside, someone from Image Entertainment, someone from whoever. But I guess we'll never quite know. But what we do know is Russ Meyer, again, was one of the great dirty old man raconteurs. You read print interviews with him from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, especially the 90s, when he started to have dementia, Alzheimer's, but he was still doing press. He was doing interviews and public appearances up until the very mid stages of his illness, until one of his last public appearances was this gigantic retrospective of all of his films in 1999, and he showed up, and all the Russ Meyer girls that were still out and about showed up, and it was a great thing. And Russ Meyer, sadly died in 2004 of Alzheimer's, dementia. I mean, it's a very sad story, the whole ending of Russ Meyer's life, and what happened there. But I mean, he's just off the charts wacko, telling, you know, these sexual anecdotes and stuff. And the commentary tracks are off the hook. For pure entertainment value, the commentary tracks are insane. I have them on my iPhone, and I just drive around. Recently, I've collected them all. And I would just listen to them all, and they're insane. They're crazy. Let me go through all of them and review them all. And I mean, it's a shame these aren't more accessible in North America. The only way to get them in the U.S. the only way to get them in the U.S. is to either buy the original Laserdiscs or import the Arrow DVDs. The commentary tracks are on the Arrow DVDs. They're not on the U.S. Russ Meyer DVDs. Those are very bare bones affairs which have no features. Their covers are... I don't want to get into that. The Laserdiscs, the Laserdiscs which were released while Russ Meyer was still alive are crazy. They have those garish covers with, you know, the red and green, just ridiculous, off the wall. And you know Russ Meyer had something to do with the blurbs on the back. Well, I think the blurbs on the back were almost the same as the VHS. So I think they kind of repurposed the VHS art and did that. But I love the art. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the Vixen Films. I think the Vixen Films creatively and from a standpoint of his predilections, his obsessions with women and big breasts, the Vixen Films, I think, were the films that Russ Meyer was probably the happiest with, because the early Russ Meyer films, he had a lot of problems making them, getting the money. Some of them didn't make a lot of money. Some of them he had problems dealing with the actors, like Lorna Maitland on Lorna and Mudhoney. She hated him, and there was a whole weird thing, and he didn't even like to talk about them. Cherry Harry and Raquel, one of the main lead actresses, Linda Ashton, bailed on him before he could complete the film, so he had to run around and shoot all this weird footage and cobble together something that made even less sense than it was originally going to make. I think he felt. I think the Vixen Films are the most creatively complete. They start off with 1968. Vixen, Erica Gavin, and the Russ Meyer commentary track to Vixen is insane. He starts off, this is the film that put me on Easy Street, it made more money, it did this, and he's, you know, the anecdotes are just nonstop. There's a lot of things. Russ Meyer in these commentary tracks, he likes to repeat himself. He talks a lot about springs and wrought iron beds, how they remind him of whorehouses, and he always talks about the actors in the film, the male leads, like very dismissively. He always says that they were trying to have sex with the actresses, and that they were always trying to slip it in, and after a while, it seems like every lead actor was trying to do this. You wonder if you know, again, these commentary tracks were recorded in the mid to late 90s, where Russ was starting to kind of have some mental issues, and you just wonder really how much of this stuff is real and how much of it is really made up. But he has a lot of good anecdotes. He really throughout these commentary tracks, it's really a great overview of all of his films. He kind of talks about the stuff he used to talk about in interviews, you know, his stuff, you know, wrought iron beds, Charles Keating, how he's gonna make a new film called The Jaws of Vixen, but he has a financier, and the financier wants him to get him girls, and, you know, and pussy this and pussy that, and Erica Gavin, and it's all these, it's this nonstop barrage of Russ Meyer quotes. Reading them is something different than hearing them. It's so great. It's so wild. So Vixen, is, I think, one of his more coherent things. We move on to Supervixens, which was 1975. Supervixens, now after around Vixen, he made Cherry Hair and Raquel, and then he got some interest from 20th Century Fox, and he made Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which is a big hit, and then 7 Minutes at Fox, which wasn't that big of a hit, and then he tried to do a few other things. He tried to make this movie Black Snake, was really weird. So he was trying to do, like, and he was even trying to get stuff set up at Fox. He was trying to do, like, science fiction movies. He was trying to do all kinds of movies, but they weren't financially stable, and he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to what I want to do. I'm gonna do girls and crazy madcap comedy. And so Supervixens was kind of like the return of that. And the commentary track on Supervixens, again, it's a little more crazy. It's a little more wild. You know, he's talking about the same stuff, and you know how he doesn't hate Nazis, Martin Bormann, and all of this stuff. And again, it's just non-stop anecdotes and crazy shit. Russ Meyer, and he repeats himself a lot, and he talks about stuff, you know, he talks about Miss Mattress and how he has a son who doesn't know he's his son, and all this stuff. The last commentary track in the Vixen collection, the Vixen Laserdisc collection, is Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens, which is the last feature film that he made. Really, I mean, he tried to finish a feature film, and then he made Pandora Peaks, but Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens is the last kind of bona fide Russ Meyer film, really. It's a Russ Meyer feature film. And the commentary track, I'd listen to the others a lot. Vixen, especially, to me, is my favorite commentary track, Russ Meyer commentary track. But I finally sat down and listened to Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens over a few days, and it's the most raunchiest commentary track I've ever heard. He introduces people in the films like, oh hey, yeah, that's Bill in the film, loves eating pussy, you know. It's like he'd be worn out all night, and Russ's and it just seems like he has these obsessions over and over. He's like, in the back of his head, he introduces at least 2 people when talking about how they love to give oral sex to women, and then he starts to talk, and it reminded me of this Onion interview that Russ Meyer did in like 1997 or 1998, where he talks about, I'm really getting into eating pussy, you know, and so in his mind, everybody's like into eating pussy, everybody's trying to fuck the actresses, you know, or everybody's like slipping it in during a take, and I mean, it's just this profane, raunchy, like mile a minute. Well, really, Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens, in that film, it seemed like Russ Meyer just stopped giving a fuck. He embraced the dirty old man, because I mean, in the early films, Russ Meyer was like, you know, I don't have sex with the actress, and nobody has sex during the film, and I'm, you know, on Beneath the Valley of the Ultra-Vixens, he was having sex with Kitten Natividad in between takes, and they disappear, and he was doing all of this raunchy stuff, and it's really, if you sit down and watch it, it's really kind of an inch away from hardcore. It's nuts, and it's crazy, and it's a wild movie, and the commentary track is wild and insane. So, and then Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. Now, Arrow did release that in a special edition with 2 commentary tracks, a Russ Meyer commentary track and a commentary track by the girls, Lori Williams and Haji and Tura Satana. And that's good. But we want to hear the Russ Meyer commentary track. And it's good. It's good. I think it's one of the lesser commentary tracks. I think in the Vixen collection, he obviously was fired up. You know, maybe it was his personal preference why he just did these 4 commentary tracks. So these are films, and then I guess he had to do it with Faster Pussycat because that's his most well-regarded film. You know, I mean, and it's the film that he had control over. I mean, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls was kind of like Fox's dirty secret. It kind of still is. you know. They couldn't get Russ Meyer to do a commentary track when he was still alive, and I guess they really didn't care about it, you know, which is a goddamn shame. But yeah, I mean, these films, they are full of some technical anecdotes. It's more of an entertainment angle with these commentary tracks. It's more of like, okay, this is a raconteur. If you think Kevin Smith commentary tracks are comical, this makes Kevin Smith look like chopped liver, you know. But maybe if you like Kevin Smith, you probably would like wet your bed and cry to mommy if you try to listen to the Russ Meyer commentary tracks. They're for the big boys. They're for the real nuts and the lunatics, because it's just Russ Meyer alone, just unfiltered, not being interviewed by anybody, just him. Well, there are some gaps in the commentary which make me think that either he was being prompted with questions or he broke or something, because there are some edits, there are some breaks. So I wonder what happened there. But I feel he wasn't, I don't feel he was being interviewed. I feel this is just unfiltered Russ Meyer just coming at you a mile in a minute for like 70 minutes, 90 minutes. It's just, it's wonderful. That Russ Meyer was interviewed a lot, but he wasn't interviewed a lot on tape, on audio, on video. And so to have this stuff and to listen to him is really entertainment. It's also, I think, entertaining and informative in a way, because you learn a little bit about the Russ Meyer school of filmmaking, about how, you know, you keep the, you know, how to deal with these broads and all this shit. It's very much, you could think of Russ Meyer sometimes as like a Tony Robbins for independent filmmakers. He's like, don't take any shit, just go and do it and fuck everybody and just go your own way, to quote the Fleetwood Mac. You know, he was an individualist. He made individual films which still stand the test of time. And it's listening to him speak about these films is great. So the Laserdiscs are cool. They have that cool Laserdisc artwork. The Russ Meyer DVDs are great. And it's all great, and you should check it out. And I would need to do more Russ Meyer stuff. I need to break it down for everybody. I love him, and check him out.